Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Kernel Kudos. My name is Jacob. This is the second video of our Bash series. We recorded the first video last week. We talked about many features and powers that Bash has, and we talked about the reasons you should learn Bash. Everyone in IT and software needs to learn a little bit of Bash so they can add it to their resume because this is so powerful. And so let's continue. We talked about 5 popular commands last week. So now we're going to actually increase our power and our knowledge in Bash. So let me clear my screen and let me actually press F11 and also increasing my screen so we can see better. Okay, let's go. Let's make firstly talk about shell. A shell is a command line. This is what I told you last week. Is a command line interface, CLI, that allows users to interact with an operating system. True. Uh, Actually, by typing commands, you do this. I told you the same thing last week. I'm just going to review. And by typing commands, you can interact with the OS, and it acts as a bridge between the user and the OS kernel, interpreting user inputs and executing programs or scripts. For example, I told you that you can have a shell script, a script of many commands that shell supports, and I told you an example of your brain. Now, I want to tell you that there's not only Bash. Bash is an enhanced version of SH. True, SH. Look, this is our shell. We can interact, we can type ls. You see, I can type clear, another ls, pwd, another command. Now I'm in home Tarokh. Tarokh is my real name, I told you. Yeah, so you can call me Jacob. By the way, we can have sh. We have other enhanced versions of sh. For example, we have fish, we have zsh, we have ksh, the corn shell, a more advanced shell than sh. Or we have csh, C shell, and tcsh, for example, shells with C-like syntax, which I do not have downloaded on my device right now. But you can test them, you can try them. But Bash, the Bourne shell, actually Mr. Bourne developed this actually enhanced version of sh. If I type in Bash, you can see Bash. Now I'm in Bash, and I can type the same commands. If I type sh, or for example, you have dash. True. This is another shell. I mean, these are enhanced versions of sh, which we're using daily. And but the Bash, the Bourne shell, is the most popular shell out there, and most of the Linux variants, Linux distributions, are using Bash as their default shell. True. I just wanted to actually talk about these different shells we have out there. So if you, for example, log into a server and you meet ZSH, you mustn't get shocked because that's not a shell. So you can type in your commands that you know in Linux. You can type those commands everywhere, no matter what the shell is. Is it dash? Is it bash? Is it ZSH? No matter. So this is it. Let's continue with the commands. Let me just check and see if I'm recording. Yes. Let's continue. Let's type in clear and guess what happens if right now I type in exit. I just go back to bash, and another one I again go back to sh. You know why? Because I just opened bash in my sh. You know what I mean? Again, exit. I go back to bash. Another exit. I will quit, of course. Let me open the terminal. Do the same thing again. Increasing the font. Let's continue. Okay, we talked about ls. I told you ls lists the things you have in the current directory. Now, For example, we have a command and we wanna actually read about that command. We're too lazy to use Google. You can search everything in Google. You can search about the ls command, about the cat command, about the less more command on Google. For example, you can search what is ls, how to use ls, daily search that we do in our browser. But what if you're too lazy? Actually, there's a command in your shell right now so you can use to read about different commands on Linux, and that is called man, the man command. What does man do? Actually, man stands for manual. You can think of, for example, when you buy a refrigerator, a device, for example, when you buy something like, I don't know, a coffee maker. What is it called? Actually, I've forgotten the word. The uh, the machine that coffee machine. I mean, yes. For example, if you buy one, there's a manual uh, inside the box, which you will read and you will understand how to use that device. I mean that manual page. We have the exact same thing on Linux. There's a manual page, manual actually notebook for each command, so you can use. Like what? I can say man cat. It opens the cat manual for me, and it says what? Cat concatenate files and print on the standard output. This is what cat does. And there's a synopsis here how we can use cat. Cat, it has some options, some flags, and some files. This three dots means what? Means you can have many files. For example, you can have cat file 1, file 2, and before the file name, you can have the options, and you can have many options, a list of options. This bracket means this is like a condition. You can not have options, and you can have options. True. For example, we can say cat-a equivalent to vet. For example, this complains, this talks about this flag, show all. Or you can have many switches, many flags here, which can help you what to do and reach your goal. You can read manual files completely to understand what a command does and what are the powers of each command. For example, a command like grep, which we will take a look at in the future, has many useful switches which you must know so you can work with that command. True? Here, if you press Q, you can quit the page. True? Okay. Another fun fact, you can read the manual file of the man command. Like what? Man. You see? An interface to the system reference manuals. Man is the system's manual pager. Here. Each page argument given to man is normally the name of a program, utility, or function. Here you can read about the man command and how man works. Easy. You type Q. Okay, what about type? It says nothing. We say type ls. Not a good command. Type cat. Cat is user being cat. True. Type type. Type is a shell built-in. You see, we have two different types of commands. Some of the commands are shell built-in or for your default current shell. Type is a command that is shell built-in. What does it mean? It means that type is a special command for your current shell, for your bash. True, but cat is not. Cat is a command for all Linux variants. It means no matter you're using CentOS, no matter Ubuntu, no matter Mint, no matter you're using, I don't know, Rocky Linux, you can have the cat command. The, so we have two different types of commands on Linux. Type will tell you what is the type of your command. Let's clear the screen. We actually have another command called what is. What is. It says what is what? Oh, he's right. We say what is. Display one-line manual page descriptions. Easy. So we can say what is cat. It says concatenate files and print on the standard output. And this is the fun fact. Man cat. This is this line, the first line of your manual page. So what is just reads this and returns this to you if your command has a man file. What is ls? List directory content. True. Man what is. Also what is has a man file. Each manual page has a short description available within it. What is searches the manual page names and displays the manual page descriptions of any name matched. So press Q. We also have another command called which says nothing. Say which. User bin which. This will tell you which command we're using. True? So it says we are using the which resides in user bin. True? Which ls. User bin ls. So as you might guess, the binary files, the applications, the commands that we are using here reside in user bin. So where is user bin? Man cd. No manual entry for cd. So there's another good command here. What is the type of cd? cd is a shell built-in, true? Each shell has cd for itself. So what is the command that will actually show us the man file, or actually a short description that helps us to understand how that command works? The other command is help. Easy. Help cd. This will tell us what cd does. Change the shell working directory. True. So we can also use the help command for shell built-in commands. When a command is shell built-in, you can use help for it. By the way, some of them also have the man file. For example, type. Sorry. Oh, type also doesn't have it, so you can use the help command, help type, and it will tell you what help does, what type does, display information about command type. So by the way, which ls? It says user bin ls. So you can guess, let me check the recording. 30 minutes, good. So you understand that ls, or other binary files that we are using here as commands, like cat also, which cat, user bin cat, which, user bin which what is, user bin what is, all of them reside in user bin. So we can change directory to user bin. I told you that these blue ones are directories. So our bash just separates the type of each actually thing in our directory with colors. For example, it separates the normal text files like white, and the blue ones are directories. The green ones are executive files, ELF files. So actually, I told you that here I can cd into documents. Now I'm in documents, and we can cd like this dot dot. So we go to the upper directory. We also can have relative paths. Like what? So I can say cd user bin true, and here let's clear the screen, typing ls. Wow, we see a lot of executive files. True, these blue ones are soft links. We'll talk about it later. So we have hundreds of executive files. True. Let's find some of the uh, commands that I guess you might know. True. Let's see. For example, these are some of the commands that we'll be talking about, like this one, change owner. It's related to permissions. So let me show a command. Currently, you don't know many commands. For example, the rm command. I will teach you this command in this video. The rm command. Now the fun fact, that's clear. I told you about the cat command. I told you that you can read actually the data of a file using cat. So let's cat rm. What you'll see is a binary file. True, you cannot read this file. It's in binary. It looks like garbage. True. Actually, you can see, you can find some plain data, but overall, actually data is binary, by the way. This is a binary file. This is an executive file. Now, let's talk about two other commands, head and tail. Head and tail. True. These two commands, what is head? Easy. Head output the first part, this one, of files. And tail is the actual opposite. What is tail? Output the last part of files. Output the first part of files. Output the last part of files. So you can say head cat or head rm. True. This is the head of the rm file here. Or let me show you something better. Sorry. Let me open a file called cars. We can have BMW, Benz, sorry, we can have Toyota, we can have Kia, we can have, you name it, Maserati, we can have Lambo, we can have Bugatti, we can have McLaren, if I'm not wrong with the type. Name some cars, come on. What's the name? Uh, cars. We can have Volkswagen. It's a long name. Volkswagen. I hope I've written it correctly. We can have. We need more cars. Okay, let's say, for example, X, Y, Z, D, W. Let's save the file and close the file. We will be talking about these editors soon. I'll teach you about Vim and also Nano. Let's exit. Let's cat cars. Okay, we can see the data of cars. Let's say head cars. It shows the first what and L another command. Cars 10. It shows the first 10 lines of a command. So what is NL? Another command. Number lines of files. Easy. So head just shows the first 10 lines, and tail shows the last 10 lines. Easy. So let's man head. Output the first part of files. Let's see if it has good options. Dash n or dash dash lines, hyphen hyphen lines, print the first num lines instead of the first 10 with the leading hyphen. So what does it mean? It means, that's not clear, we can say head hyphen n 5 cars. It shows only the first 5 lines of a file. Tail hyphen n 5 cars. So you can ask, how do you know that also tail has the dash n command, dash n flag, sorry. So I just guessed it has, and it has. Man tail. It also has the dash n command, dash n flag, sorry. And also the rm command that I told you is for what is rm? Remove files or directories. rm has special and useful flags, like I'll show you right now. So I say rm cars, easy. But what if I had a directory and I wanted to delete that directory? What is mkdir? Make directories easy. You type mkdir and the name of the directory, for example, dir1 ls. We have dir1 here in blue because it is a directory. Now if I type rm dir1, it says cannot remove dir1 because it's a directory. So what to do? We can have rm-r, which is the short form of recursive, and also rm-d only for the directories which are empty. Right now, ls-dir1 is empty. There's nothing inside dir1. True? So I can use the -d flag. But if some file or some other directory is inside dir1, then I cannot use -d because -d only works when your directory is empty. So currently I can say rm-d dir1 and it removes the directory. mkdir, and let me show you something. If you just press the up arrow key of on your keyboard, you can access the history of your bash. Look, these are the commands that I typed. mkdir dir1. Press enter. cd dir1. Actually, there's a flag uh, for creating recursive directories, which I will show you later. Make it mkdir or makedir dir2 cd back ls dir1 dir2 rm-d dir1 directory not empty. This is what you will get. Cannot remove dir1. So here if I say rm-r dir1, easy, it's gone. Because -r means recursive, and recursive means delete everything inside the file, inside the directory, and also delete the directory itself. And there's a very dangerous command in Linux, rm-r slash asterisk, which we will be talking about what is a slash and what is the asterisk in the few videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Let's go and stop recording this video. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with us. Colonel Kudas here. My name was Jacob. Good luck. See you later in the next videos.